The first trimester, a whirlwind of emotions. Just finding out you're pregnant can be a mix of excitement and maybe a little bit of fear, no matter what your plans were. Morning sickness? More like all-day sickness for some. But even when you're feeling wiped out, every tiny emotion reminds you of the miracle growing inside. It's a wild ride, but a beautiful one. Amidst all this, you might be wondering, what is happening in there? This video will explore the entire first trimester and everything you need to know about the first trimester of pregnancy. Well, the adventure begins with conception, which isn't technically considered pregnancy yet. Conception begins with sexual intercourse, during which sperm from male ejaculation enter into the female's vagina. If this happens around the time of ovulation, which is the release of a mature egg from the ovary, then the sperm may fertilize it. Ovulation typically occurs around day 14 of a 28-day menstrual cycle. Following fertilization, the fertilized egg travels down the fallopian tube and implants itself into the cozy lining of your uterus around day 6 to 7. This marks the beginning of a pregnancy. A full-term pregnancy lasts about 9 months, and these months are divided into 3 sections, each approximately 3 months long, known as trimesters. The first trimester spans from the first week to the 13th week of pregnancy. A lot happens during this phase, from conception and implantation to the initial stages of fetal development. It's a crucial period where the foundations for a healthy pregnancy are established. If all goes well, the pregnancy continues through the second and third trimesters, ultimately culminating in the birth of the baby. Since our focus today is specifically on the first trimester, let's break down what happens week by week. In the first week, the primary event is ovulation, which is the release of a mature egg from the ovary. If unprotected intercourse occurs around this time, fertilization may take place. This happens when sperm from the male successfully swims to the released egg and fertilizes it. In the second week, fertilization finally takes place completely. This occurs when the winning sperm successfully reaches and fuses with the released egg, instantly determining the genetic characteristics of the new embryo. The new cell formed from the fusion of the sperm and egg is called a zygote. During the third week, the zygote undergoes rapid cell division in a process called cleavage, splitting into many cells to form a cluster known as a morula. As it continues to divide, it develops into a blastocyst. The cells within the blastocyst then arrange themselves into 2 distinct groups, preparing for the next stages of development. The first group is the outer layer of cells, known as the trophoblast. It plays a crucial role in nourishing and protecting the developing baby. These cells help the blastocyst implant into the uterine lining by invading the lining and establishing a connection with the mother's blood supply. This connection is vital for delivering oxygen and nutrients to the growing embryo. The trophoblast also produces important hormones like human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, to support the pregnancy. Meanwhile, the inner group of cells, called the inner cell mass or embryoblast, is destined to form the embryo itself. These cells will differentiate into 3 primary germ layers: the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. The ectoderm will develop into the baby's skin, nervous system, and other structures like hair and nails. The mesoderm will form muscles, bones, blood vessels, and internal organs such as the heart. The endoderm will give rise to the digestive system, lungs, and other internal organs like the liver and pancreas. The blastocyst will then travel down the fallopian tube and eventually reach the uterus. During the 4th week, the blastocyst will implant itself into the uterine lining in a process called implantation. Remember that while all these things are happening in the background, the mother may not likely be aware that she's pregnant because symptoms have not yet started manifesting. In the 5th week, hormonal changes triggered by implantation will pave the way for the first signs of pregnancy to emerge. A missed period is often the first clue, but it's not guaranteed for everyone. Your breasts might feel tender, swollen, or tingly. Feeling more tired than usual? That's your body working hard to nurture new life. Nausea and vomiting, often nicknamed morning sickness, though it can strike anytime, might also join the party. Frequent urination and strange food cravings or aversions can add to this unique experience. To confirm pregnancy, you can take a home pregnancy test. These tests detect the hormone HCG in urine and can usually provide accurate results from the first day of a missed period. However, it is important to schedule a visit with a healthcare provider, ideally immediately after missing your period or experiencing the symptoms stated earlier. Boom. This is where things get official. A pregnancy test or a blood test to confirm your suspicions, you're pregnant. During this visit, you'll discuss your medical history, family history, and lifestyle habits to ensure a healthy pregnancy. Also, your doctor will become a bit of a detective to estimate your conception date and due date. Determining when conception happened and your estimated due date involves a two-pronged approach. The most common method relies on your last menstrual period. Doctors simply add 280 days, which is 40 weeks, to the first day of your last period to get an estimated due date. This method is convenient and non-invasive, but its accuracy hinges on your menstrual regularity. For a more accurate picture, especially early in pregnancy, doctors might recommend an ultrasound. By measuring the fetus's size and development, they can compare it to established growth charts and adjust your due date if necessary. In the 6th week, the embryo, about the size of a lentil, starts to show a detectable heartbeat. Facial features begin to form, and small buds appear, which will develop into arms and legs. By the 7th week, the embryo is the size of a blueberry, with rapidly growing brain cells and more defined arm and leg buds. The nostrils and retina start to form at this point. At the 8th week, the embryo reaches the size of a raspberry, with webbed fingers and toes, developing eyelids, and further organ formation. At this time, you may have been scheduled for a scan to confirm the pregnancy and its location, ensuring it's not ectopic, verify the number of embryos, checking for multiples, and determine the gestational age. The doctor will also check for the baby's heartbeat, which is a key indicator of viability. In the 9th week, as the embryo grows to the size of a grape, it loses its tail, and fingers and toes become more distinct. By the 10th week, the embryo, now called a fetus, is about the size of a kumquat. The fetus starts to make small movements, and major organs continue to mature. At the 11th week, the fetus, the size of a fig, develops genitals, red blood cells in the liver, and more distinct facial features. By the 12th week, the fetus is about the size of a lime, with functioning organs, developing reflexes, and forming fingernails and toenails. At this point, you may be contemplating or even already scheduled for the nuchal translucency scan, often combined with a blood test which helps assess the baby's risk for certain chromosomal conditions like Down syndrome. The scan measures the fluid collection at the back of the baby's neck, nuchal translucency, which can be slightly thicker in babies with these conditions. Finally, in the 13th week, which is the final week of the first trimester, the fetus, now the size of a pea pod, starts to harden its bones, move its intestines to the abdomen, develop vocal cords, and make facial expressions, even sucking its thumb. This period is crucial as the foundations for all the body's systems are established, and the baby grows from a tiny cluster of cells to a more recognizable human form, emphasizing the importance of regular prenatal checkups to ensure a healthy pregnancy. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more informative content.